All right, welcome back into another episode of Indiebnb. Today I am joined by Spencer Thomas of Spencer Thomas Music, Spencer Thomas Songs, however you
That's
want to
right.
find him on all the things.
hmm
Spencer, how are you on this Atlanta evening?
I'm good. I was just cutting up a shallot.
All right, all right.
Yeah.
You know, a little bit of a getting in the onion family. What are we baking up here?
Oh man, I'm the prep cook for my girlfriend. She's the chef. She'll get off work. I don't know. I think we got a little risotto going on over here. Yeah.
I mean, you can go follow him on his other Instagram, Spencer Thomas Cooks or Spencer Thomas Preps.
I'm cooking. Yeah, prepping for sure. She's the mind behind the dishes, but she's like, "Hey, can we do this?" And I pulled some stuff from the garden. So,
Oh,
that's my day. Yeah, cleaning up and prepping food. Just a
I
Tuesday.
love it. Hey,
hmm
nothing like it. Tuesday after Memorial Day, got to get some gardening in, get some zen in after all the hot dogs and stuff, right?
For sure. Hot dogs and fireworks, right here in this very backyard. We did it up like that.
I love it. I love it, man.
hmm
Well, want to understand. I discovered you through Instagram video you put up from a show you played with the Future Birds. So I was also
hmm
in attendance, and I was like, "Hey, this lawyer's guns and money. This sounds familiar." And I was like, I'm pretty sure I was there. I was at that one. So,
Yeah.
how'd you get to do that? I mean, like you guys, you kind of are a touring member of that band, or what's the kind of the situation there?
I was until December of last year. Yeah. So I knew the guys for a while because I played in a band in Mississippi that used to open for them. When I moved into Georgia, Thomas from Future Birds reached out. This is after I like kind of left that band and did my first solo record. And he said, "Hey, like, love your record. Love for you to come over to the house." This was kind of COVID times, so we were like
Hmm.
hanging out on the porch, having drinks, shooting the shit. And they asked me to fill in on drums for some backyard shows, because I really kind of came up as a drummer. And so So we went through that whole process. I filled in on bass a few times and then became the keys player in 2021 and then played throughout the those years until the end of 2024, playing keys with the band. And it was great. I saw everything, toured all over the country multiple times, had great experiences, met great people through them, but um I knew that ultimately what I wanted to do was play my own music. So
Yeah,
it was a really nice opportunity for them to allow me to play with my band at the Eastern. And it was kind of
yeah,
like it was a nice, like, exclamation point on my Future Birds retirement and showing them this is what I'm getting into now.
yeah. Well, I mean, like I'm sure you get all those kind of connections and experience, and like how has that kind of fueled your you're touring a lot right now. Like, how has that
Mhm.
fueled kind of the things you're doing, some of the things you're doing now?
Oh man, just the fast track of being able to like know who I can contact where. Um, that's really helped. I mean, I did a lot of touring in my years in my old band in Mississippi called Young Valley, and I booked a lot and we toured all over the country, a couple of times as well. But all of those connections, I would say, have more or less run dry, just because that
Hmm.
was years ago that I was doing that. So it's really nice to be able to reach out to some people that I've just seen, people who are promoters
Hmm.
or talent buyers in town, and I can play in their smaller rooms or be referred to more listening room style things because I'm touring mostly
Sure.
solo these days, to, you know, honestly, like make my living. It's better for me to get the solo show really tight and until money comes up for me to like properly pay my band.
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny. I've as I've kind of gotten into this, I've seen that like some people have like a grander idea of like, hey, like I want my live show to be this, but you kind of have to start, and it seems like for everybody, got to take the steps and be, hey, like let me get this as tight as I can, just me, and
Hmm.
then once I can get to that point to really build it up, like that's when we'll start bringing the people along and adding another person, adding adding
Hmm.
another element to it. So. um well, with you, like, you obviously you mentioned you were in Athens prior,
Hmm.
great music town. So, like, how has that kind of influenced you a little bit? Moving from Athens to Atlanta, like, kind of that transition.
Um, Not being a big fish in a small pond, for sure. I mean,
Yeah.
I came up from Jackson, Mississippi, and it was a great music scene there, but it was one where everyone knew everyone, and it's not to say that people didn't have an opportunity out of Jackson, but you're more likely to swing and hit if you're based out of Athens or Atlanta. There's more there. It's easier to get to bigger markets from this
Hmm.
area, um, and so I do feel like I showed up to Athens and realized, oh, there's more accessibility um, to booking agencies and record labels, and there's multiple studios around town, and so there was more of an opportunity, um, just just from Mississippi, and there was also a little more of a competitive edge from people who are. I'm 33, so I mean, people in Athens who are. I mean, I know people who are absolutely killing it right now who are 23. So I mean, and I didn't want to get lost in that comparative mindset because we have different goals as far as that goes.
Sure.
Um, but the edge there is definitely was fueling and motivating, and
Hmm.
feeling like the people around me in Mississippi came from a more traditional way of writing a song, and I feel like uh, in Athens there's a lot more like band-based songwriting.
Hmm.
So that was something cool to pull from as well.
Yeah. Now, for you today, like, I mean, for Joke of Life, which came out in 2024,
Hmm.
is that band base? Is that you in your living room? Like, where are we starting, kind of on that record?
They've all, uh, I would say 95% of the time, the songs just, start and end with me on a guitar and a piano, just making sure that
Hmm.
they work. There, a lot of them, if not all of them, are usually road tested. I mean, because
Hmm.
you can kind of feel and get an honest reaction from people whether or not something is really working. And and then I'll go in and record with more of an arrangement in mind. And I've had a few people like my friend Lars Hefner, who plays in the band Hefner. Who I don't have you interviewed Hefner?
I have not, and
Okay.
it's been one that's Jameson Tank. Like on my first one time I talked to him, he was like, "Yeah, man, like you need to get these guys on, these guys on, these guys on."
Hmm.
And yeah, I'd love to have Lars. I'd love to have Lars on.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Jameson is what a connector, that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. But but Lars wrote a lot of the guitar parts. I had a lot of Athens flavor all over the record. And so I would say that the arrangements were completed by a lot of the musicians that I brought in, but the song at its core is just from here,
Yeah.
guitar, piano, I show up with it. Do what you will with it. Let's make something more special about it in a full band arrangement.
Yeah. Now, like you've mentioned that you've played every instrument. Like, is there any instruments you can't play? Like, what do you got? Like, you've literally you've said I have a bass. I rolled into the drums a little bit. The guitar, piano. I mean, like, what can't you play?
I can't play the saxophone.
Oh,
Yeah, but luckily I have friends who do.
yeah.
Yeah, so like woodwind instruments, I was a tuba player. Um, Through college, actually, to pay for my school, I was a tuba player. Yeah, so I mean, I'm familiar with like horned instruments. But yeah, but like the basic, drums, bass, guitar. keys. I have familiarity with that. I'm not
Hmm.
a guitar shredder, but I can
Yeah.
play chords, I can play lead parts. I don't have the same technical ability as people like Lars, but as far as what my vision goes for songs, I can get the job done.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
guess, and that's probably the most important thing. So, I mean,
Yeah.
being able to play them all, like, if I bet you, have you wanted to learn anymore? Like go in and like, get into saxophone a little bit or some woodwind action, or is it more
Mm.
just like, yeah, I got what I got and I'm good? Like,
No, I mean, man, I rented a cello when I was in college, and it was ridiculous. It was like $20 a month. And I used to come home, or when I was living in college, I used to go back to the house that I was living at the time, and I'd sit down with that cello, and I started to make good sounds out of it. And I regret that I didn't keep that up, but
yeah.
I think maybe when I looked into buying one, I was like, oh, I don't know. But
Yeah.
I love that sound. Of course, I would be interested in playing a saxophone, and I think that if you write music, I think picking up a new instrument is so helpful because
Yeah.
once you play a melody on that new instrument, um, well, then it sounds like the best thing in the world to your ears. You could play it on guitar, something you're familiar with, and be like, oh, it's okay. But maybe if you pick up a saxophone, you go, ooh, that's interesting. I like how that sounds, or like
Yeah.
maybe the melody is more of a hook that way.
Interesting. Well, within your like the people you've brought in, like have some people brought that flavor like on Joke of Life, anybody bring anything in particular that you're like, man, they brought that sax on this one, or
Hmm. Yeah, well, saxophone speaking, my Carl Brummel, who plays guitar in My Morning Jacket, he
sure.
is also an excellent saxophone player. I don't think people know that until they see the band live, but Carl offered saxophone on The Joke of Life and How Come Heartbreak on the record, um, and did a fucking great job. So speaking directly to saxophone, yeah. And then there's also Lars, man. I mean, Lars is just, he's such a tasteful guitar player. And, when I give him enough time to really sit down with it, he plays a guitar solo that's on Fake Rain that'll
Hmm.
bring tears to a glass eye. And it's just so good. I mean, like, I just
Yeah.
love being around really talented people. Andrew McFarland, uh, who played drums in Neighbor Lady, which I'm wearing a Neighbor Lady shirt right now,
No.
actually. He played some great drums on Misty Eyes and also Fake Rain and Woman Who Smokes Cigars on that record. So
Yeah.
it was a hodgepodge of people, and I don't know if I could keep up with that next record around. I loved that it's a big staff of people who played on it, but I'm kind of like, all right, that's a lot to control once you get into the
Yeah.
mixing process and also making sure that everybody, gets paid what they're worth too.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, you mentioned "Woman Who Smokes Cigars." That's one of the songs I kind of wanted to, spotlight. When I was
Yeah.
listening through the record, that was one that I was like, it kind of drew me in, and I'm a very lyrically inclined person. So if we could start
Hmm.
there, like, I'd love to
Yeah.
understand the story behind that one. Coming from nothing to something.
Um, yeah. So it kind of will maybe start with pieces of stories, like pieces of things that I've experienced, but then
Hmm.
it turns into a character. And this character is kind of wandering the streets of New Orleans and is maybe a few cocktails in and drifts off from his friends and goes on his own journey and, is sitting in this loud ass bar reflecting on a person, a woman who is maybe of uh, maybe not real, maybe of his dreams, somebody that he wishes would come down and sit next to him and engage with him, but instead he's what he hoped maybe would happen uh on that kind of night really just ended up with him being in a loud ass bar with a bunch of people just chomping conversations at him that where people are so drunk they're just talking at you. Yeah,
Yeah.
and I really relate to that experience because I'm very much like I'm like, let's sit outside and talk one on one. Like, if I have to yell in order to have a conversation with you, I'm just not gonna do it. It's just not like that's just not the experience I like to have. Um, so part of that is kind of, drummed up with maybe a couple of experiences that I've personally had just hanging out in New Orleans or other nights. But yeah, I wanted somebody who was feeling lonely and maybe feeling a loss for something that is a figment of his imagination. Um,
Hmm.
and I thought that those couple things about like um, uh, a group of people telling jokes, and then somebody pulls out a cigarette, and everybody's like, "Oh, can I have one? Can I have one?" One guy lights up, and now they're all bumming smokes. And you kind of like it makes you think about like being in an unfamiliar place and being by yourself somewhere, and you see this little like friend group hanging out, and you kind of maybe you're somewhere outside of your community and you're kind of longing for that same sense of community. And so this is kind of where I imagine this character is. Um, and so he's just like drunk and dreaming up this fictional badass woman partner who is lighting up a cigar.
I love that. I think like
Mm,
I definitely when you mentioned New Orleans, I can picture it now better. I was like thinking about it like in the Athens perspective, but then I'm like,
mm,
you know what? I think like New Orleans that fits much better in like the
mhm,
I think the line is there's a line or like a concept of like, hey, being more like feeling better in an empty bar versus being like in a full bar. Like I think I
mhm,
totally jive with
mhm,
that. Like I think like it's definitely a thing. So yeah, I mean I love that the tune and the kind of getting the story behind the character. I kind of love to
mhm.
hear where that kind of comes from and. So it's not a personal experience. It's more of an amalgamation and a character based on some personal experience. That's good to know.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of them. I've had some. I mean, I think we've all had plenty of songs that are like direct from experience straight out to paper. Um,
Yeah.
and sometimes a song will come. I don't know, like maybe it was the title that came first. I can't really quite remember, but
Mhm.
I write from titles a lot, and uh, because I kind of have a place to write towards, and so the story will kind of develop in the journey to the title, if that makes sense.
Yeah. There's only one other person who said that they write from titles on this show, and it's a guy, Chris Casey. He's down in Statesboro. He's a real new kind of different sound than you have, but like he also was like, all right, like I came up with a title this, and then I'm like, what would a song like that sound like? And then
Mm,
he goes from there. It goes from there. I'm like, man, it's a pretty unique way to kind of think about something. How do you? Well, I guess the yeah, how do you come up with the titles? Like, where do is there like a melody or a song? Like, you play like the music part of it first, and then kind of come up
hmm.
with the title, and then bring the story in from there, or what's your what kind of the process there?
It might be. It might be a just a line. Sometimes it's happenstance. Sometimes I'll just hear people say something like I had a friend say, "She doesn't know she does it," and I'm like, that just sounds like a good title. And so I went and wrote that song, and I went and recorded that song because I just loved the way that that sounded. So it could be me, like sometimes I'll just write stuff at the top, like I'll catch a phrase and it hits my ear right, and I'll just write that at the top of the page and just see what I can complete out of that. Um, so it comes in different ways, but yeah, I'll catch something weird, just something that someone will say, and I'll go like, all right, if I have a title. about 9 times out of 10, I have a song. I can just,
Oh,
I think I just need like, I'm very much like a clear instruction sort of person. Like, I'm not a hints person. Just like tell me directly what I need to accomplish. And I think that that aligns with my personality really well when you say, there is the title, write a song to meet that title. And I'm like, okay, cool. That's the goal. Let's go to the goal.
man. She doesn't know she does it. Sounds like, I mean, like that. I can hear. I feel like I can hear that song. Like,
Yeah,
yeah, I need
yeah,
like,
it exists. I have it. Uh, it was a standalone single. If you're checking Spotify right now,
yeah. I'm looking
um,
at
I-
her. Yeah, I'm looking at it now.
is it on there? Because I'll tell you what happened. I think I had it originally on TuneCore before I signed with Strolling Bones Records, and I think my subscription ran out. So I don't know if it's up there anymore. So I'm gonna have to talk with them soon.
Yeah,
But
I think it's yeah. We have the Hanging Tough album and the Joke of
okay.
Life, and then a couple of the Joke of Life extended,
Uh-huh.
but I don't see it on here. So
Okay.
we'll
Well,
be
man, it might be on, well, it might not be on YouTube either. Well, anyway, it's like the most Tom Petty. It's like we went full Tom Petty.
love
And
that.
I love it. I think it's a great song. And but yeah, we were like, let's, what would Tom Petty do?
Yeah, I
Mhm.
can. Oh man, that's awesome. For you, when you're creating your solo set list and like kind of going in, like you mentioned that some of these songs are road tested. Like
Mhm.
when you go and like play, are you intentionally playing like, all right, I'm gonna play, I got my kind of my set, but then I got some rotators that I gotta, come in here and test. Like what's your kind of thought process when you're going in and like, all right, we're going in tonight, playing Gainesville, Florida. I need to, test out, a couple of these. Like, how are you
Mhm.
creating that?
Hmm. There is definitely a guideline that I'll work with, and kind of be like, these songs kind of work better in the first half of the set. These songs kind of work better in the back half of the set. But I definitely, especially now, I have a lot more, I don't know, lighter hearted, kind of cheekier, funnier songs, just more clever. Um,
Mm-hmm.
to balance out the kind of depression era songwriting that I was going through in my first record. I felt like, I don't know, in everybody's first record, I feel like in some ways it's kind of just figuring out how to channel um, your stuff into music. And but as I've branched out more, I have things that are a little more clever and funnier. And so I really just try to create a balance between, what's more of a ballad, what's more of a up rock song, what's kind of funny and cheeky, what is kind of a like a more lovey ballad. How do we really go with the show and really bring them up, bring them down, make them laugh, make them cry, you know? Does this have a good story? Is this a good transition going from here, telling this story and going into this song, And so I think a lot about that to the point where I'll, I shit you not, I will sit down with a set list and with however long I'm supposed to play, set a timer and tell the stories um, between to a fake audience, like I'm going through the set as if I'm performing, just to one, make sure that I'm not going way too long, and two, make sure that the set list is balanced out and I can like refine the stories about the songs just as well as I
Yeah.
can tell the song, play the songs. Like it's kind of feels like stand-up comedy. Um,
Yeah.
but I think that's part of doing a solo show is being able to, you got to keep people engaged. And, your seventh sad song on an acoustic guitar, you just like, you lose them, you know?
Yeah.
So I have an advantage of being able to go from guitar and piano. Um,
Hmm.
and I think when it's feeling right, when we're having a good time, the set's going well, I feel like people are engaged. I'll be like, all right, I'm gonna try a new one. And if people are like, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, then um, so a lot of the rotations can happen spur of the moment like that, and other
Hmm.
times I'll just put them in the set and see if they work, and then maybe
Yeah.
they'll hold that spot for a few more shows.
Is it a pretty cutthroat evaluation? Like, what's the how do you play it off the crowd? What are the things you look for, I guess, as a reaction from them to like be like, oh yeah, that one's we hit there.
Um, hmm. Feedback is great. I mean, if anybody says this song, um, especially if they call it by the title, um, then I know that they resonated with it. So I'm like, okay, keep that one in. But also just, you can feel attentiveness
Mhm.
even if people aren't talking. Um, if they're quiet, and you feel that energy, like you could hear the needle drop, then I feel like that's a good tell for me that people are really resonating with what's going on in the song. Um, and if people are starting to drift and yeah, I mean, some some people are just talking crowds. Sometimes you just run into talking crowds.
I can't stand people talking in crowds. It's like talking in a movie. I'm like, why'd you come? Just go
Yeah,
outside. Like,
yeah, yeah, and I've experienced this in a lot of spaces because in order to like honor the songs, I'm just trying to play more listening rooms, living rooms. Uh,
yeah,
Not to mention, I feel like there's a financially better outcome. There's more connection for me, networking wise, and like just between fans and music. Um, but yeah, I've dealt with some living rooms and a few people that are just, I'm like, why'd you even pay to be here? And I just have to say, hey, look, if you really need to have your conversation, just like go outside, have the
yeah,
conversation and come back in. But don't you ruin the experience for me and the people that are sitting there next to you if you do that.
yeah. That's a good point. Well, we'll transition that kind of off the touring piece and roll into something a little bit more lighthearted. You had said you had some fun cheeky stuff. We got some fun cheeky stuff on this show as well,
Hmm.
so we'll
Uh-huh.
rip into some of that here. This is Pete
Okay.
Peterson's party pack of questions. This is going to be
Oh.
20 questions right in a
Uh-huh.
row, and it's going to be rapid fire. So as soon as you know your answer, just rip it.
Okay.
Uh, and here we go. Pete Peterson's party pack of questions: cake or pie?
Bye.
He's pieing it up. All right. Salad or soup?
Oh, soup.
All right. Sunrise or sunset? What do you prefer?
Sunset.
All right. Would you rather hit a home run or score a touchdown?
God. Home run.
All right. He wants a nuke. All right. Now, are
Hmm.
you Braves country? Even though you're Mississippi. So, like, I mean, growing up,
Braves
I would live in
country.
Louisiana. Yeah, it's all Braves country.
Yeah, yeah,
TBS.
yeah, yeah.
I love it. I
TBS.
love
Yeah.
it. All right. Night in or night out? What are you having more of these days?
Night in.
All right. All right. When you do go out though, and your jam comes on, are you more likely to hit the robot or the worm?
I'm more likely to not really dance, but I would say that I have about the hip movement of a robot, so I'm gonna say robot.
Okay. All right. We need to work on the hip flexibility. We'll get in there. We got to get you some bands or something. We like that. All right. Guac or queso at your favorite Tex-Mex spot?
Guac.
Guacking around. All right. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh, pancakes.
All right. All right. Coffee or tea with your pancakes?
Coffee.
Coffee all day. All right. Dogs or cats?
Oh man, this one's hard. The reason being, we have a dog, but we just rescued a cat, and I've been very fond of this little guy, and so it's been a tough one. But I've always been team dog. Whole family's been team dog, so we'll just go team
All
dog.
right. All right. Are you more like a ninja or a pirate?
Ninja.
Ninja. Gatorade or Powerade?
Gatorade.
Toast or bagels?
Toast.
Toasting it up. All right. Chips or pretzels?
Oh, God. I just
That
had some
includes soft
ruffle.
pretzels.
Oh man, I just had Ruffles and they're delicious, so I'm gonna say chips.
All right. All right. What about fries or tots?
Mmm, fries.
Fries. All right. After a long day in the garden and chopping shallots, are you more likely to rip a TV show or a movie?
It's been TV shows lately. Oh, dude, Revenge. Look, he's like, what did you say? Did you say that dogs are better than cats? What did you say?
What's up, man? What's up?
This is Benny. Say hello,
Benny.
Benny. Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I would say I'm on the show series lately. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Are aliens real?
Oh, yes.
All right. Bigfoot. Real? Not real.
Bigfoot. I want to believe. I want to believe. Um, there's so much attraction around Bigfoot, but like, it's out there, man.
All right. Is love at first sight real?
I I don't know because I think I think I've believed that love at first sight is real, and then I'll hear that person talk for 2 seconds, and I'll be like, oh, maybe not.
Nope. Maybe
So,
not.
sorry. No,
Hey,
I don't
no,
believe.
dude. All right. All right, and then you've mentioned a couple folks here, but we often ask for two bands that we might not know that we ought to check out. You may
Mm.
use Hefner if you want to use Hefner as one of your two.
I mean, Hefner for sure. They're coming out with their next. Well, I know that they have a fourth record in the can. So those guys have been cooking up something really great. Um, let's see. A band I was just thinking about recently, Being Dead. Really cool band from Austin, Texas. Um, Being Dead. Yeah. Three
All right.
piece, kind of almost like if the Mamas and the Papas had a punk band. I don't know how else to describe it. It's got those kind of weird harmonies, but fast, aggressive, flips on a dime. They're great.
Wow. All right. Being Dead, a little bit of Hefner action.
Mm,
We gotta get some
mm-hmm,
people checking them out. So,
mm-hmm.
and the final question on this show, I would love for you. I know you're gonna have to take your phone from where it's placed, but please share with us your last Spotify search, and I will do the same.
Oh
Um,
man. Okay. Let's see. Wait, do you still, wait, how do I share my screen?
you'll stay on. You'll stay on. You just don't exit out of the app. There you go.
I don't, okay. So okay, let's see. Um, my last Spotify, well, okay, I'm a Apple Music guy.
Okay.
Um,
Either one.
let's see. Do you want me to just, what, read off what, top
Yeah.
five?
Just top two. Top two.
Top two. Um, Young Nudie, because his face was on the side of a mural of his was painted on a gas station, so I was trying to see about that record. And then Heavy Metal, um, Cameron Winter from Geese. Um,
Oh, okay.
I was showing a friend who was showing me more Geese stuff that I hadn't heard before, not to be confused with Goose. Um, and someone last year showed me the Cameron Winter record, and it's kind of
Hmm.
jarring at first, but after you hear it a couple times, you're like, I think this is actually really beautiful.
All right.
Hmm.
See, the fact that you mentioned that painting though gives me hope that people will continue doing that, because like that's a
Hmm.
great form of you know advertisement, just putting something
Yeah.
putting something out there. So
Hmm.
hey, third studio album. I mean, we're gonna get some
Yeah.
graffiti going. Like, let's get something out there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't. We don't know what it'll be. We don't know what the songs will be. But like,
Hmm.
hey, I'd love to see some Spencer Thomas, graffiti out there.
Yeah.
Get it rolling.
Murals, and then we're gonna get some Marta bus raps, you know?
Yes, the MARTA. You got to get on the MARTA. Like where it feels like Herzig University has really been funding MARTA's ads for too long. I think we need someone needs to just supplant them.
Get them out of here.
Get them out. Come on.
Yeah.
Well, I always I'll share mine as well, just because I don't want to leave you out the hanging. But mine are
Yeah.
the "Nothing Matters" by the Last Dinner Party.
Hmm.
It's a great track, and then "Brandy, You're a Fine Girl" by Looking Glass. So I
Yeah.
was, I guess I was feeling some Brandy, which
Hmm.
as one does, as one does.
That's great.
So. Well, Spencer, thank you so much for joining us today.
Yeah.
We'll be streaming. Everybody go stream Joke of Life, on your
Hmm.
Apple and Spotify. We'll have, it linked below. Of course, check out him on tour. Where can we find the tour dates on the Instagram? They're out there.
It will be on my website.
Uh-huh.
Slowing down from touring in June and July, doing a few things, finishing up record 3. And then
Woo.
August, I got some West Coast dates, out west into the West Coast, and some East Coast stuff coming up in September, and also back to Florida. So keep on the lookout.
We love it. We love it, guys. Well, y'all check it out. Spencer, thank you so much for stopping in the Indiebnb. We appreciate your time, man.
The Indie B&B. Thank you, Grant.
Thank you.